Have you ever felt that your mind never stops talking? That even when the world around you is silent, your thoughts continue running, jumping from one worry to another. You lie in bed, trying to rest, but your mind replays old mistakes or worries about what might happen tomorrow. You feel exhausted, not from physical labor, but from the endless noise inside your head. This feeling is not unique. It is the quiet epidemic of our modern world. We are surrounded by sound, information, and distractions, yet most of us rarely find true silence. We seek peace, but we look for it in places where peace cannot exist. To understand how to return to stillness, we can begin with a simple story. The story of a young man named Marco. Once upon a time, in a small mountain village, there lived a 24-year-old man named Marco. He was not poor, nor was he unhappy with his life circumstances. But inside him, there was a storm. His thoughts never rested. He would spend hours thinking about his past, about mistakes he had made, about people he had hurt or lost. When he was not trapped by yesterday, he was anxious about tomorrow, about whether things would go right, about whether people would love him, about whether his dreams would come true. Each day, he carried this invisible burden. His body was in the present, but his mind was everywhere else. One day, Marco heard rumors about a wise old man living in a remote village deep in the hills. People said this man had once been a great psychologist in the city, but had left behind its noise to live close to nature, helping only those who came to him with sincerity. Something inside Marco awakened. Perhaps this man could help him find what he had been searching for. Peace. Without hesitation, Marco decided to make the journey. Finally, he reached the village and found a small wooden house covered with green vines. On the porch sat an old man with closed eyes, his face calm like still water. Marco approached carefully and said, "Grandfather, my mind is restless. I cannot stop thinking. I feel anxious all the time. I want peace in my heart. Can you help me?" The old man slowly opened his eyes and smiled. "So, you are looking for peace?" he asked. "Then come with me. I will give you a small task." He led Marco to his yard and filled a glass completely with water, so full that even a small movement could make it spill. Then he handed it to Marco and said, "Take this glass, walk from here to the end of the village and come back. But remember, you must not spill even one drop of water." Marco was surprised, but agreed. He held the glass carefully and started walking. The road was narrow and full of people, children playing, and dogs barking. But Marco kept his eyes only on the glass. When he finally returned, he smiled with pride. "Grandfather, I did it. I didn't spill a single drop." The old man nodded. "That's good," he said. "But tell me, did you see the children playing? Did you hear the dogs barking?" Marco looked surprised. "No," he said. "I didn't notice anything. I was only focused on the glass." The old man smiled again. "That is the secret." A sighed softly. When your mind stays in the present moment, there is no space for fear, confusion, or unnecessary thought. You are not sad about the past, nor afraid of the future. For that moment, your mind was quiet. That quietness, that presence, is peace. Marco bowed his head, and slowly, understanding dawned on him. Peace was not something to be found outside. It had been inside him all along. From that day on, Marco was no longer the same restless young man. He had discovered the art of emptying the mind. That story may sound simple, but hidden within it is a profound truth about the human condition. What the old man taught Marco with the glass of water is a metaphor for life itself. The water represents peace. The glass represents our mind. If we fill our mind too much with thoughts and worries, even a small disturbance will make everything overflow. But if we carry it with calmness and focus, we can walk through the chaos of life without losing balance. This lesson echoes the wisdom of mindfulness, the ancient art of living with awareness. Modern science has now confirmed what ancient wisdom has long known. Studies show that mindfulness reduces anxiety, improves emotional control, and increases happiness. But more importantly, it reminds us that peace is not the absence of problems. It is the ability to remain calm despite them. But how can we apply this in daily life? How do we empty our minds in a world that constantly fills them? The answer lies in small, deliberate actions. First, pause before reacting. When something triggers you, take 3 deep breaths before you respond. Those few seconds create a gap between thought and reaction, and that gap is where peace lives. Second, focus on one thing at a time. When you eat, just eat. When you walk, just walk. Third, accept not knowing. Much of our anxiety comes from trying to control what we cannot. When we let go, we create space for peace. Finally, disconnect. Spend 30 minutes each day without screens or noise. In that silence, you will begin to hear your own awareness. When we practice these habits, we slowly train the mind to return home. The noise of the world will not stop, but our response to it will change. Peace is not found in the absence of storms, but in learning how to stand calmly in the rain. Motivational Story reminds us that peace is not something we find after we solve all our problems. It is what we discover when we stop fighting with our thoughts. When we let go of the past and stop fearing the future, we return to the present, the only place where peace truly exists. Before you sleep tonight, close your eyes and take a deep breath. Feel the air enter and leave your body. For 1 minute, do nothing. Think nothing. Simply exist. In that stillness, you may realize that peace has always been with you, hidden beneath the noise, waiting for you to listen. Because when the mind becomes empty, life finally becomes full.